Hey, welcome back to Star Technology, where in the last video, we got this distillation setup going. That takes all of the various different airs that we got out of the essences made a little while ago now. So now this is generating a bunch of really good gases. You can show it. Yeah, all of this stuff. Now you might notice that it's different from last time. So at the end of last video, I had so many different problems with this system to solve, and most of them I couldn't test because my power was completely shot. I'll get onto that later, but to be brief for now, power problems have subsided. They're not solved, but they're not here right now. And this whole distillation setup wasn't technically working because previously I only had the one vacuum freezer freezing all of the gases. But that meant that it only ever did one gas at a time, and it would just fill up on that one gas, and I wouldn't do the rest of it, so I was only doing normal air for a couple hours. So I've changed that now, so that each vacuum freezer accounts for each distillation tower, and I just fill them with the air that they need. And it all works. But this does start drawing a lot more power. So I've been doing a lot of stuff to change this. So the main problem was that the dynamo just had an extremely terrible return on investment. Like, the amount of power required to generate the fuel was, by my rough estimate, I'd get about 130% return on investment. So not good, even with full upgrades. And just out of like total power generation that I've got, I've changed the system a little bit. I now have this main power input flux system, and that'll just give me a flat number for how much energy I'm generating, going into this, being plugged into main power, and I just get a straight readout of how much I'm consuming. And you can probably guess, despite the turbulence here, that these numbers are pretty close to the same. The average of here is about 130,000 FE per tick. And at the end of last video, I was only generating about 80,000. So I got a lot more of that power by bringing the lapidary dynamo back. And I'm still consuming more diamonds than I'm generating, so this is a temporary solution. But it works to solve my power problems, at least for like this video. Because in this video, I hope to try and fix a lot of my power problems. And at the end of last video, I said I was going to get into solar panels, and some of you in the comments were saying that was a good idea. However, I've been looking through this, and I can technically get these advanced solar generators, because that only requires EV circuits, but it takes the epoxy printed circuit board, which is a whole ordeal, just to get epoxy. Like, it's just such a pain. And also, I think, yeah, EV circuit assembler, that instantly makes it IV. So the best I can do is intermediate, and that's only 100 FE per tick, and given that if I keep all of this fuel set up, I need about another 50,000 RF per tick, so I would need 500 of these intermediate solar generators. I don't want to get 500 of these. And that would also take a bit of effort because I don't currently have a system to get liquid soldering alloy. So I'm gonna put this on hold for a bit. This is definitely the ultimate solution for me, but I don't think it'll be worth it until I can get advanced or elite, because by then they'll outpace any other power generation. So for the immediate future, and to also kind of make some more progress, I want to get these EV tier upgrade kits, because that, yeah, double fuel energy. That multiplicatively is going to be a huge improvement over what I have right now, and hopefully enough to take me into IV, at least across both the dynamos. And at that point, I literally can't upgrade the dynamos any further. I need to start having multiple. So the main problem here is I need shellite, and shellite requires RTM alloy coils. I don't think the dust itself... No, the dust itself is not that bad. But the RTM alloy coils are a bit of a pain. Yeah. ruthenium dust is the main thing here, because for that I've got to go through the whole plat line. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me to be able to get shellite. And the reason I say it's going to work towards ivy is because shellite is the wiring material in ivy. So I'm kind of doing this a bit early. We'll see. And I bet RTM alloy coils are going to be good for more than just shellite. So I guess the first place to get started is getting some of this plat line sorted out. Palladium, I can do it just for the sake of the quest, because I should have a bunch of the raw palladium. Yeah, that just goes in the chemical reactor with hydrochloric acid. I have a lot of hydrochloric acid. I can just set this all up in here, and that'll get me a bunch of palladium. 9 palladium. Not quite the conversion rate that I thought it would be, but there's that. I can also work down towards iridium. I'm not too sure how useful that will be for a bit. It's probably going to be a thing in ivy, but for the sake of this video, I don't think I need to touch iridium yet. I mostly need to worry about this inert metal mixture, because that's what gives me ruthenium. So, inert metal mixture with sulfuric acid makes ruthenium tetroxide, and ruthenium tetroxide with carbon makes ruthenium. And now I kind of just need to see how much ruthenium I'm going to need, because this is not a great conversion rate. I'm going to need a ton of RTM alloy. Like, I don't know, 500? Now that might be a bit much. So then it might be in my best interest to make this with patterns so that it can kind of do it for me. So I'm going to remake the recipe for the platinum stuff, but set its primary output as the inert metal mixture. So then if I want, I can queue up a couple hundred of that. Assuming I can give it purified chalcopyrite, but that's not so hard for me to make. And this goes in the large chemical reactor and makes ruthenium tetroxide on no specific circuit, so I'll put it in the 0. And then the same with carbon to make ruthenium. And this is another thing that's going to take carbon. I don't want to put it in the same machine as the titanium tetrachloride. I'll put it in this one then. So now I have the recipe for ruthenium, so if I want 100 of it, I can just ask for 100 of it. And this is so expensive. Oh my god, 1500 platinum group sludge for 100 ruthenium. This conversion rate is terrible. So the rest of this, tungsten, I don't think tungsten's that bad. And molybdenum, I think I just have a ton of that spare. Let me see. I have a recipe for tungsten anyway. So the only thing here that I don't have a recipe for is molybdenum. And I don't have too much of that. I guess I can just do a bunch of processing of molybdenite myself. Yeah, because I can just electrolyze that. Okay, so I feel safe in leaving the RTM alloy dust recipe at that. So, to get all of the coil blocks that I need, I first need to see how many coil blocks that is. I need 52 coil blocks, jeez. So that's 416 wire. And it's a ×2 wire as well. I would guess if the wire is 2 to 1, it's just 416 ingots. So that's 416 dust. I'm missing a surprisingly small amount of molybdenum for that. 4,000 platinum group sludge. 2,000 purified chalcopyrite. Okay, this is expensive. But nothing here seems out of my range. I just need to make a bunch of molybdenum, purify a lot of chalcopyrite, and I should get a recipe of hydrochloric acid. I'm just wondering what the easiest method is. Chlorine and hydrogen. That'll do it. So now I just need to purify a ton of chalcopyrite. Is this enough chalcopyrite? I need 2,000. Nope. Okay, surely this is enough now. Yeah, that's gotta be enough. Okay, I'm just missing a bunch of molybdenum. And I can overproduce it a bit. Yeah, I've probably already got enough, but I've still got 4 more stacks on the way. Well, I may as well get this recipe going. 416! 420 is the smallest amount I can make. This is going to take forever. So I may as well get it started now. I don't have much of a guess for how long this is going to take. Maybe like an hour? No idea. But it's going to take a while. Thankfully, the RTM alloy isn't the only thing that I need for the coils. So I still need a ton of vanadium steel and liquid nichrome. So I need 416 vanadium steel foil. And I have 8 vanadium steel. I need another 96. Well, this is also something that I'm going to have to make a recipe for. What does it need? Steel, vanadium, and chromium. The only thing there that I don't have a recipe for is vanadium. But this, I can probably just process that myself with vanadium magnetite. I'll see how much of it I need. So if I need 96 more ingots, I only need 6 more vanadium? Huh. That is incredibly easy. Let's see, the macerator is still in use. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's got to get crushed. Well, I'll just put the vanadium there and hope for the best. Actually, I can do this manually for a bit. I don't need to worry too much about efficiencies here. And the centrifuge is a lot more free than the macerator. Can't quite say the same about the electrolyzer though. Oh, never mind, it doesn't get electrolyzed. It goes back in the centrifuge. So there's a bunch more vanadium. So I can queue up that 96 vanadium steel. So the last thing I need now is the liquid nichrome. So I need, let's just go 7.5 buckets for simplicity's sake. So yeah, it's 1-to-1. It's 52 nichrome ingots. So I should be able to queue that up as well. And I expect this to take a while too, just because all of the same machines are being used. So that is all going to take a very, very long time. So let me see, is there anything else that I need to get these EV tier kits? Maybe the actual materials for the shellite? I have the helium, just signalum and black bronze. So I can get that signalum recipe. That's pretty easy. And I've already got black bronze. So then I can get that shellite, and I guess the recipe for the ingots. I'm not going to be able to act on it for a while though. Let me see, if I need 8 shellite ingots per kit, and I have 6 kits, that's 48 shellite ingots. So can I get the 48 shellite dust? Probably. So that's a ton of recipes on the go now. Done in 1 second. Yeah, right. Now I'm just going to be babysitting these for a while to make sure I don't get too many recipe conflicts. It seems to be running fine for now. Oh my god. I'm probably just going to have to leave this for a while. The ME system is saying 34 minutes. I don't really trust that. It's usually wildly inaccurate on both sides of the scale. I mean, just look at this. This is probably going to take another 30 minutes, and it says 3 seconds. So I'm going to find something else to do in the meantime. I think I can tick off all of these quests pretty easily. I just need argon, helium, neon, radon, xenon, and deuterium. Krypton. Krypton. That's all of those quests. I should probably make some sort of storage system for all of this, because this is just filling up all of my slots. I do have a lot of spare space in here, but similar to how I don't like spending all of my slots in the colossal chest, despite having a lot of spare, filling up the liquid doesn't quite sit well with me. So, what would be the best fluid storage for me? To my knowledge, I can't do a similar solution to the drawers. I'm pretty sure there's something in functional storage that can store fluids, because the copper upgrades do mention fluids, but nothing here seems to imply it stores fluids, because the drawers don't, from my brief experimenting. So maybe it's time I get into the GregTech tanks, because these store so much. What's that, 8 million liters? I'm guessing a liter is a bucket. The tanks get so big that it wraps around to negative numbers. Although I don't know how much that would save on channels, because I'd still need 1 per tank, because I don't know if there's a storage controller type thing here. Unless I can make tanks that can store multiple liquids at a time. Well, either way, having a ton of storage buses, I feel like that's slightly better than having a ton of import buses. So, which tier tank should I go for? Oh, the tier 3 tank. A field generator? No idea what that is. And the hermetic casing, oh, that's easy. You'd be figuring out this field generator then. Need manganese phosphide? Manganese and phosphorus. Kind of expected as much. I'm not really bothered to do that. Is the MV easier? Probably. That takes polyvinyl chloride? Okay, maybe not. LV, I can probably do that. Polyethylene's not that bad. Yeah, 8 million buckets is still so much. So I'm just going to make a recipe for the electric pump. And then I'm going to need a recipe for the hermetic casing. So we'll also need a recipe for the large polyethylene fluid pipe. And then that should be enough to make the super tanks. So let's see, I'm going to need 18 of these? Damn. I'll just make 20 because I'm probably going to need more of these in future. And nothing seems out of range here. Assuming I don't need to use the centrifuge, I should be fine. But I think I do. Okay, I'll get it going anyway. I'll just come back and see. But the centrifuge is going to be busy for quite a while. Alright, so after a bit more recipe babysitting, I've got the tanks pretty much done. So then, where do I put all of this? Maybe I make a big array of it over here? Yeah, that could work. So I could just do it 6x3, would that work? Oh, hang on a minute, this is 8 kilobuckets, that's only 8,000 buckets. Does that mean a bucket is 100 liters? No. Now it just says 8 million millibuckets. Ah. So maybe these tanks weren't as much as I thought they'd be. I could set it to fluid voiding, because 8,000 buckets of something is more than you'll ever really need. So now to pipe all of this through. And it seems to imply that this is the output side on the back. So I'm just going to set all of these to accept through the output. And then I'm just going to connect all these pipes here. And, oh, actually, an idea. Instead of having it be perfectly symmetrical like that, I could have it mirroring the distillation tower. So then I can separate all of these lines, and then they can each connect at different heights. I think that's pretty cool. So now it's time that I remove all of these, and then I can replace them with pipes. So now I just have them all export, and whoa, that didn't work. Okay. Is there any way I can wipe the input? No. There's no, like, fluid dump? Okay, can I at least import from them? Yes, slowly. So I can empty it out at least. So then, instead of doing all of that, I'm gonna put the fluids in place first. Actually, there should be... yeah, there's a bit of each fluid already in here. And then I can put those in their place. And I'm going to enable fluid locking, so that they can only have that fluid in it, just in case it breaks itself again. Right, so that's normal air fixed. Then I can do it all again with the nether air. Then I can connect that back. And then one more time with the ender air. Then I can connect that back. So that should be a better storage of all of these gases. And I was initially planning on getting rid of all of the leftovers in here, but I kind of can't be bothered, because that's going to take a while. So I'm just going to make the storage buses and leave it at that. Although I kind of like being able to see all the gases like that, and covering that up, yeah, it's not going to look great. I don't know. Because I can connect to the side of these, that'd work, so I can do that. And the quest book only says that neon is useful from the nether air, so I might just connect that and leave the rest. Because I have so much residual in the ME system already. I don't know, maybe the rest of it is useful. I'm not sure. But I'll just connect all of that and leave it like this for now. So with this done, and looking really cool, what's left on the RTM alloy? Not much. It's done all the platinum. It's just waiting on the ruthenium tetroxide. So for that, I'm going to need to make myself a bunch of sulfuric acid. So I'm just going to put all of this extra sulfuric acid in, and that should fix it. There we go, 420 RTM alloy dust. So now, to make the ingot recipes, I need 416 RTM alloy ingots. Maybe I should have had this going from the beginning instead of making the dust first. Well, I'm going to split this up so I can get the other blast furnaces going. I have no idea if my power can manage that, but I'm gonna try. Well, actually, do I need to get all of the RTM alloy coils now? I think I only need one of these so I can get the shellite. The shellite's going to take a while on its own, but there's much less of it. So if I just make... Technically I only need 16. I only need 47 more RTM alloy ingots. There we go, I can make all 16. And comparatively, this should take much less time. Okay, I have the 16 coil blocks. Now, I just need to take out this alloy dust for now. Oh, I stepped in the lava. And now I just need to replace some of these coils. So, it's only going to be running on the one side, and yeah, that didn't make a multi-block. I'm going to need to put some extra helium in, though. I think 5 buckets should be enough. I have a few more RTM alloy ingots. Let me see. I just need another 10 to finish it off. Yeah, I have enough. Okay. And that'll double the rate that I get the shellite. Okay, there's 10 more coils. I can put those in just the same, although I want them on shellite. Okay, so that's now doubled my shellite production. It's still very slow. Okay, I've got a decent amount of shellite now. Should be able to make some of the upgrades. Let me just stick them in here. And they only take about 2 seconds each. Yeah, that shouldn't take too long. So that's 32 shellite ingots. And I need to turn them into gears, which would be this mold. And then 2 of the gears with enderium glass, and the upgrade makes the EV tier kit. And I've actually managed to get enough hot shellite in that time to get the rest of the gears. Just need to freeze them. Okay, so that's all the shellite gears. I'm just waiting on enderium glass. So I'm just steadily going to be upgrading these kits as I go. But with only 2, that's equal to what I was producing before with all 3. And I can still put in another one. Although, it doesn't actually say it's producing any more. It says more when I put the speed upgrade in. Is there a production limit for this? Because it's always producing the same amount of energy, regardless of how efficient the upgrades in it are. It's just slower when the upgrades are more efficient, so maybe I do want one of the speed upgrades so that I'm actually producing more energy. For the diamond one, I definitely want all multi-cycle injectors so that I burn the diamonds slower. But yeah, if I actually want to produce more power, I need to increase the maximum output. And I do seem to be making a profit of fuel right now, so maybe this is fine. I don't know if I'd be able to support the EV tier for the speed upgrade, because then I'd be running through the fuel way too quickly, even if I am doing it more efficiently. I don't know. Well, either way, this is still definitely a big upgrade. Because now I can run this on the faster speed while still making a profit of fuel. So I now have 51,000 more FE per tick. And the lapidary dynamo, hopefully I'm back to making a profit of diamonds, because I've spent about 8,000 diamonds just in the time it's taken to record this video. So maybe it's slow enough that I'm back to making a profit? I don't know. But if I can run this at the fastest speed and still be able to keep it going indefinitely with fuel, that's enough to run all 4 blast furnaces, which is kind of the extent of the power. So it's definitely not fixed, but my power should be fine to go into IV, because by IV I can probably just rush solar panels before I get the IV power. All I need is the IV chips to make the EV circuit assembler so that I can get the good solar panels. And then those are going to be able to solve my power problems. Okay, I feel like I finally have a path to the end now. I'm no longer just fruitlessly chasing this dynamo and spending half of my time just upgrading power. If I can get on the solar panels, which should be pretty soon, that's it. And I think in the process of doing this video, I've finished pretty much every loose end that I had before going into IV. Because sure, there's the rest of this plat line, but I can do that as a part of upgrading to IV. Same with the next circuit assembler. I think I might be good to upgrade to IV in the next video. Yeah, actually, I already have everything. All I need is the HV circuit assembler, and I can just do it. I can just make an IV tier circuit. So then maybe next video is me working towards the solar panels. But either way, I'm done with this video. For once, I actually got everything I planned to do done in the video. And a bit more. I wasn't planning on doing this video, but we got the RTM coils, so we can get shellite, so I can upgrade my power to be good enough to handle IV, and we refined the air distillation area, just a bit. So I'm pretty happy with that progress, and I feel like I'm leaving this off on a pretty good note. So, yeah, I guess that's it for me. Bye.